here today because children across the state of Illinois are getting sick and they're being hospitalized. And we can take action to prevent it. When we set out to legalize and regulate the cannabis industry here in Illinois, one of our most important priorities was the health and safety of consumers, especially children. Our landmark legislation included, strict regulations and guardrails that crack down on deceptive practices in packaging and advertising. Within the licensed and legalized cannabis industry, those efforts have proved effective. However, over the past 5 years, an unregulated and unsafe market has been developing, fueled by companies seeking to circumvent regulations and exploit loopholes. Commonly known as intoxicating hemp, this industry is selling hemp-derived products such as Delta 8, and they're using deceptive advertising tactics to market them directly to minors. These products have an intoxicating effect, often to dangerous levels. They're untested and unregulated and are widely available and accessible to young people. As you might expect, those operating in this legal gray area do not share a commitment to the well-being of our children. That is why today I'm calling for action. As this market has flourished, there have been far too many stories of people, especially children, ingesting intoxicating hemp products and getting sick. Nationwide, over 9,000 cases of Delta 8 poisoning have been reported, nearly half of which involve children. That's no accident. These products are being marketed explicitly to children. Too often, these products mimic the brand colors, names, and designs of popular snack foods, like those sold by our friends at Ferrara Candy. You can see for yourselves. Without careful examination, you can hardly tell the difference between these two. They can be sold anywhere, at gas stations, at corner stores, and they have no age requirement. That is a recipe for disaster. Even if they are consumed intentionally, these products can pose a significant risk to health and well-being. Because they are unregulated, there are no testing or dosage requirements. Using processes to concentrate THC extraction from hemp, many have been found to contain amounts of THC far beyond what is allowed for typical adult use cannabis. These products are often shipped from out of state and are subject to no oversight or testing for biological contaminants or pesticides. The Illinois cannabis industry was built on safety, fairness, and equity. Intoxicating hemp products are not consistent with those values, and action is needed immediately. So today I'm calling on the Illinois House of Representatives to pass HB 4293. This legislation will regulate intoxicating hemp products in a similar manner to how legal cannabis is regulated. This bill was negotiated over the course of a year. The Senate has already passed it, and it's time to make it the law of the land. The public deserves to have their children protected and to know that the products that they are ingesting are safe. By moving the industry into Illinois' existing regulatory umbrella for cannabis products, we can ensure that these products are tested, sold, and used safely. That means banning the use of deceptive packaging and prohibiting any marketing designed to appeal to children, raising the legal age to 21, and limiting product sales to licensed dispensaries. I want to thank some of the individuals and organizations that are here with me today who are helping us to crack down on this public health risk. CEO Marco Capurso of Ferrara Candy, Dr. Mariah Ramandar, and Dr. Jamie Lim of Lurie Children's Hospital, and my partners in the Illinois General Assembly, including Senator Kimberly Lightford, who's a sponsor in the Senate. Welcome. and Representative Barbara Hernandez. Thanks to all of you for standing up for our children and protecting them. There's no time to waste on this subject. Just last week, there were news reports of Illinois children poisoned by intoxicating hemp products, ingesting a dangerous amount of THC. I've spoken with families of children whose lives were upended by the devastating impact that these products can have. Every day that these products are on our shelves, we risk the health of another child or another adult. Thank you to all of you for being here today. And with that, I'd like to hand the podium over to a great partner in this work, Dr. Mariah Ramondar. Doctor, put these down.
Hello, I'm Mariah Ramondar. I'm a pediatrician at Lurie Children's Hospital of Chicago, and I'm the medical director of our Substance Use and Prevention Program. Unfortunately, novel substances are constantly being developed to circumvent regulations, and our regulations are always struggling to keep up. Our youth are the ones who suffer. Teenagers have no trouble accessing hemp-derived and synthetic products from convenience stores and gas stations, often packaged in ways to intentionally appeal to the youth. And they're being seen within our clinic and within the emergency departments of our state. Youth in our clinic who have used these products have let us know that they feel a less relaxing high that seems to come on pretty quickly. They feel more forgetful and scattered. They also report headaches during and after use. And they say that these products seem to be easier to obtain than traditional cannabis products. Our emergency room has even seen children as young as 2 with unintentional ingestions of these products that can look like candy and junk food, as the governor showed you. The impact of these products can be hard to track, though. Youth don't always know what they're getting, whether it's a mislabeled product or a substance they got from one of their friends. And our commonly used drug tests don't test for synthetic products. Additionally, diagnosis codes can be nonspecific, so we really don't know the full impact of this issue. Additionally, much remains unknown regarding the impacts of these products, but we do know that youth are being exposed and reporting negative effects. Harmful chemicals are used to synthesize these products, and however, long-term effects of concentrated THC and synthetic products remain unknown. So we need to protect our youth and their developing brains from these products by getting them off the shelves of stores where youth can access them. The proposed amendments of HB 4293 would ensure important regulations of hemp products by more clearly defining the component limits of hemp, including all natural and synthetic derivatives of THC, an essential strategy to protecting our youth from potentially harmful substances. However, beyond this legislation, we also should ensure that even regulated products do not appeal to youth and continue to drive unintentional ingestions and youth exposures. So we appreciate the work of policymakers, including Governor Pritzker, Senate Majority Leader Lightford, Leader Hernandez, State Representative Cam Buckner, and local Alderman Brian Hopkins. Thank you. I'm so sorry. Okay, yes, and now we have CEO Marco Capurso. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you to all the speakers and state representatives. I am very happy and honored that our company is included in this important event to express support for the Hemp Consumer Product Act. My name is Marco Capurso. I'm sure you can detect I'm Italian. And I have the honor of serving as Chief Executive Officer for Ferrara Candy Company since a little bit more than 3 years. Ferrara headquarters are here in Chicago, and we have here in Illinois 5 manufacturing facilities. We were founded in 1908, and since then we are here in Illinois and in Chicago. And a lot of work allowed us to become the largest candy company in the US. And we produce many products. I hope you know some. Nerds is one example. Trolley, Laffy Taffy, Jelly Belly, Black Forest, Sweethearts, and some products are iconic like Lemonade, Red Hots, Chacos, and Runs. One of our core values in Ferrara is integrity, and we work hard every day to create delicious and innovative candies for consumers and to ensure the highest level of quality and safety of our products. Simply put, we do everything we can to inspire moments of sweetness, celebration, and connection. And we cannot accept that any consumer should be afraid to consume their candies, that thinking that they might be dangerous, and no parent should worry that their families can be harmed by what they thought is a threat that very often happen in a moment of celebration of reward. As you have seen, it can be very difficult for consumer, especially young consumer, especially kids, some kids that maybe are not yet able to read, to know the difference between the actual candy and the hemp product that are packaged, marketed, and sold in a way to appear as a candy. Without a clear regulation, hemp product can be easily mistaken as a candy, and the consequences are those that have been well explained by the intervention of the doctor. For this reason, we strongly support the Hemp Consumer Product Act and know that it will ensure trust in the integrity of candy and that this will benefit to everyone in Illinois and for the safety of our consumer. On behalf of Ferrara, I want to thank everyone here today for their work and advocacy on this important issue. We look forward to working together with the governor, the sponsors, and all who are here today to pass this important legislation. For us, there is nothing more important than consumer safety. Nothing more important. Thank you very much. Leader Hernandez, right? It's okay. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Barbara Hernandez. I'm the state representative of the 50th District. I cover areas of Aurora, North Aurora, and Batavia. And I'm here to talk once again about this important topic that we have here. I'm very thankful that the governor has shined more light into this. I know we've had previous conversations in the General Assembly about these harmful products that are in our streets. They're in our local gas stations, like the governor has said. They're accessible to many individuals and very intoxicating, not only to our young individuals, but also for us as adults. It can be very intoxicating. I know a few friends that have tried them, unfortunately, thinking it was a real product, and they were very intoxicated to the point that they really couldn't function. They couldn't do anything, and some of them ended up going to the hospital to take action. So this is why it's very important that we take action now. In the General Assembly, we need to pass this law, this bill. I know many people have been working on it for a couple of years now. I know I've been part of those conversations for a few of those too. But today, it's a big day for us because now we are shining more light into this at a state level. I know this is not only impacting here in Illinois, but it's impacting our nation. But right now, we need to focus on our kids, our families that are located here, and make sure they're safe. So I want to thank everyone for being here. My colleagues behind us are here to support us, and it's amazing to see that support and action that I know I'm looking forward to hopefully voting for this bill in the next General Assembly. So thank you. And I will pass it on to Leader Lightford.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you, Governor, and all of us here that's in this fight for equity and inclusion and fairness. So I'd like to be included in this conversation about regulating Delta-8 products, ultimately keeping kids away from its dangerous effects. I am Senate Majority Leader Kimberly Lightford, and I've spent much of my time in office working to enhance the cannabis and hemp industries in a way that's fair, safe, and equitable. Most recently, I led the charge to pass House Bill 4293 in the Senate. We passed this bill back in May, and it's been sitting over in our partner's house in the House. So we're very happy that the governor has really lent his support and his voice to this subject, and we're hoping that the House is listening. The passage of this legislation was a culmination of dozens of hours of meetings with the hemp industry, with the cannabis industry, and other leaders. We worked diligently to put forth a bill that protects consumers, helps our cannabis industry flourish, keeps the promise to our social equity communities, and doesn't stifle reputable hemp business establishments. The current unregulated market undermines social equity license holders who have long worked to establish a legal, well-regulated business. Effective regulation is about safeguarding public health and fostering a sustainable, trustworthy market. It is vital we move forward towards regulation of hemp and Delta-8 products, and do so in a way that is equitable and provides opportunities within the evolving industry. We support the hemp industry. This is not an effort to bash the hemp industry. We want the hemp industry to survive and thrive and continue evolving. So I vow to continue to work with the industry experts and my colleagues to get a bill over to the governor's desk that places proper regulations on hemp processors and craft growers, so people know the actual contents of the products that they are consuming. And lastly, I would just add that this was a bipartisan effort in the Senate. There's no opposition, or I can't remember if there may have been maybe a single no vote, maybe. So this is something that we highly urge passage of, and we hope that the Speaker in the House will entertain this measure. Thank you. And I have the distinct honor and privilege of bringing our wonderful governor back to the podium.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy to take any questions from members of the media. Yes, Olivia. Hi.
I had a couple of uncommon questions. The first one was, I just wanted to clarify the timing. Was this something that you were hoping would be passed in the House in the lame duck or pushed back into the next session?
In lame duck, because if it goes into the next session, it would have to be repassed in the Senate and then in the House also. Yeah. Yeah.
And then I think that there was a push for maybe a different approach on this, of a separate hemp license, like a different bill was filed on that. Why go this route instead of supporting others?
If you don't mind, I'd call on Senator Lightford,
Thank
who
you,
was
Governor.
involved in those negotiations. Yeah.
Thank you, Governor. We've spent a considerable amount of time focused on a lot of hemp areas and cannabis areas that still needed some refining, retweaking. Whenever you come up with something as massive as regulating cannabis, there will be trailer bills. There will be efforts that need to come as you go to fix the regulations. This was included in a full package. It wasn't something that needed to be left out. It's a part of improving our overall law for providing services, and we felt in the Senate that all of it should go together. We've passed it twice already. Well, we may have even passed 3 bills over to the House that have not been addressed. So I think that if we pass the bill in its full passage, there's a lot of other areas that are involved also in the cannabis regulation that would also receive a big boost as well.
So, sorry, what's your response then to some in the hemp industry who say that this would basically put them out of business? It's too much overhead?
So I don't know that to be factual. We held significant amount of meetings with the hemp industry, with the cannabis industry. We learned from both ends of the coins of the cannabis community. There's a lot of hemp personnel who said we'd be fine provided that, and we did all of the provided that in the legislation. We amended it to accommodate those requests. And so I believe that if they're regulated like the rest of the market, that they have the same ability to make a significant amount of money and do well in that space. To just circumvent the law is illegal, and they're harming children. We can't leave out the fact that they're functioning right now in an illegal space. So they need to be regulated like all the rest of the industry, and also provide those protective measures for 21 and under, for those under 21.
Governor, a lot of folks from the hemp product industry are concerned that this is going to criminalize non-intoxicating products. They say it's going to put 10,000 people out of work. Do you put any stock in those claims, and are you concerned about that?
I don't put any stock in those claims. I understand that there are a lot of stores that are selling these products that would not be able to sell these products. I get that part, but those are not stores. Typically, they're not stores that are dedicated to this product. There are a few, but mostly these are, as I said before, convenience stores, gas stations, and elsewhere, and they've got other products that they sell that they wouldn't go out of business not selling this one.
You also raised the concern that this essentially amounts to a prohibition, like the one that used to be in place with marijuana, that this is just going to drive it underground. It's still going to be available, basically. What do you mean by that?
Well, it's not prohibition. It would just be regulated. That's the point, right? I mean, could have had a prohibition bill. And in fact, I think one of the bills a year or two ago was, in fact, to ban Delta 8 entirely, right? This is something that would regulate it. And I think it's, as I think indicated by Senator Lightford, this is a compromise. This was, heard a lot of testimony, heard a lot of interests, and made changes in the way this bill is approached. That's why it took so long finally to get to where it was, and I think just ran out of time in the House. This is an opportunity to finally get it passed in January.
Would you consider this your top priority in the bill?
Oh, I can only tell you we got a lot of priorities and things that we want to get done, but I don't think I'd describe it as my single top priority. I will say this is very important to me. Let me be clear. We are talking about children getting sick. We can prevent that, and we have, in just a few weeks, we can get that done. So that seems like, you can call it what you will. I would just say I'm passionate about getting this bill passed in the House.
Going off topic, it sounds like going beyond lame duck, I should say. It sounds like there's going to be a push to potentially legalize iGaming in Illinois as far as casino games on your phone. Curious if you review this issue and if you support it.
I have not reviewed the issue. I know that other states have legalized iGaming, so it's worthy of consideration.
Governor, what will you do if the city government shuts down? And do you feel like you learned any lessons from cleaning up what happened?
I didn't hear the last part. Have I learned lessons from?
From like coming after Browner and those issues that Governor Browner and those issues?
Yeah, you're gonna learn a lot through trial. What do they say? Trial by fire, or challenging times. Look, I don't believe that that's going to happen. I think that they're going to come back next week and get a budget passed. I know it's very challenging, and I understand when things are challenging. That it, nose to the grindstone, everybody, pulling on the oar, whatever expression you'd like to use. But I've talked to a number of aldermen just because I run into them places, and their reaction is, we can get this done. It's hard. They all will tell you it's hard, but they can get it done. And so I have, faith that they will. And I think the mayor I know is working very hard to get it done as well. So yes, John, I'll get you.
If they're able to pass this legislation, how would you go about enforcing that legislation, given that the products, it's not like a regulated industry here where you have manufacturing them and distributing them. They're showing up in places, like corner stores and gas stations. How do you go about actually enforcing these? Do you have to rely on local police to go in? How would you do it?
Look, I think that you have to think of this as, would you want a product on the shelves readily available to people that is making people sick? And if you don't, it's, what if you had, something that looked like Tylenol and it was making people sick and you could easily access it? Can you stop every package of it from ever showing up on the shelves of a store? No, I guess you couldn't, but it sure would make it difficult if for an existing legal convenience store, gas station, if they're selling an illegal product, they're going to get in trouble. And so that enforcement, I think, is an important component of it. But nobody's breaking down any doors. But maybe Kimberly would like to add to, because we do have the regulatory enforcement part of cannabis is a kind of a good model for exactly what we would be doing. But go ahead.
That's
Sorry.
it, Governor. You just said it. The regulation doesn't mean destroy or doesn't mean to get rid of. Regulation is falling in line with our cannabis laws. So the same regulations that apply to cannabis would also apply to the hemp. Hemp has its own license and its own category, so we like for all of those who are illegally selling to stop and to line up with the law that would allow them to function as a thriving entity. I mean, hemp does a lot of products, lotions and soaps and deodorants and things. We're only talking about the Delta-8 products that causes harm to people who may think they're getting one product and it may be a little stronger or whatever the case is because it hasn't been regulated. So we just don't know. But we would love to regulate it, and we would love to put it in its proper place for usage.
The deception, I just want to add, is, I mean, just pull these out again because I think it's just worth reminding you, like, your children would not, at some age, 6, 8, 10, would not know the difference between these two products. And this is just the beginning of a reason, and a good reason why this ought to be regulated. Yeah. We've got a few bills that we're going to be looking at for lame duck, and so I wouldn't necessarily say there's a priority. I just told you, however, I'm passionate about this. If I say something is a priority, people will feel like the other things are not priorities, and the reality is I think we have several things we need to get done in lame duck. But I'm holding a press conference about this, probably this may be the nearest to lame duck, and certainly one in which you're seeing an array of folks who are coming forward to say this is important. And we're talking about health and safety, and I think there's maybe no more important thing for us to be going after than making sure that people are healthy and safe. So yeah, thank you.